All right, good afternoon, ladies, and welcome to Women in Music South Africa in Conversation with uh, marketing, PR, promotions, and branding is our topic for the day. So, if you could kindly introduce yourselves and perhaps what you do, and then we can get started with the conversation.
Cool. Who goes first?
Alphabetical order. Bunny.
Okay, wow, all right. So my name is Meslane. I am a publicist. I've been doing publicity for the last 7 years now. I started off in film, and then I got to write for people, and then I got into publicity. But I started politics and public administration. I've got a degree in that. I never studied publicity at all. My understanding of publicity is that, so we basically make awareness on your behalf. We sell, your dream. We sell perception. We sell image, which is why I've got my makeup done today, because we sell dreams to people. Do you understand? And the idea is for people to buy those dreams from us. So I'm a storyteller on your behalf. I'm your lawyer. I keep messes. That's what I do.
Okay. Gaba?
So my name is Gaba Thiwe in full. I am the owner of Cold Rain Consultants. I started off in PR in 2015. I fell into it. And I started with an artist called MT. And I was head of PR for the company since the company started, I guess. So started off as PR bookings and everything until we grew to where it is now. I work with artists, I work with brands. My idea of PR is, what do I want the public to see? Not just selling. Is it long term? Can it reach? And whoever I work with, can we reach outside of Africa and while staying true to ourselves? Not so much gimmicky. So I'm very at this point I am very strict on who I work with and what I work with, and I understand what it is, and just that's it. What do I want you to see?
Okay.
That's what PR means to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Miss Lise.
Hi again. So I'm Lindiwe Dhlamini. I am currently a label and marketing manager at The Orchard. The Orchard being a global music distribution company. Before that, I was at Turn Up Music as head of A&R, and I started PR in 2013. Yeah. At Aptitude Consulting, where I was doing corporate PR for entities such as the British Council, also for brands and products such as Garnier, the fragrance You May, a couple of other celebrities in the country, including Paul Maboy and DJ Speedster and Major League back then. Fast forward to this year. Yeah. So when I started at Aptitude Consulting, I moved to a record label called Geoback Records, which is a Pan-African label, which is still operational even now, where we represent artists in Nigeria as well as in Mozambique, some of them being Burna Boy and Lelezi. And then now being at the Orchard, my focus is mainly on marketing to stores. So my marketing is retail focused, not focused on consumers. So by retail marketing, what I do on a daily is that I market content to DSPs, that being Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, literally all the digital stores that you can think of. Yeah.
Okay. And Miss Kgadi S?
Hi guys. So I'm Kgadi. I run my own company now. I've started my PR journey, I think, when I was about 19, 20. So it's been about 7 years basically in the game. How I started off was I actually studied PR. I'm qualified in PR, so I learned it from school. I got to do a bit of journalism at Hype Magazine as well, where I was basically trying to improve my writing. I even wrote for Skyways magazine, which is the in-house magazine in your SAA. And because it exposed me to different writing skills, that's where I started improving my writing skills. And then from there onwards, I was an intern at Electromode. Worked on a couple of festivals and artists at the time. So it was like your KOs, it's been quite a long journey. But yeah, and then after that, I had gone from there to working with Farrah Fortune for like about 4 to 6 months, and then we did a bit of work with Ciroc when Ciroc was launching Ciroc Pineapple. We did some more work with KO as well because he moved there. And then from there onwards, I moved to Ambitious, senior PR, worked with a bunch of talent there, like the list is endless. And fast forward to now, 2019, 2020, I'm in the first year of running my own company. Wow. And funny enough, the list is endless as well there. In the past year, I've literally worked for like, I just recently did something with Amstel. I'm currently working with Mo Flavor. I'm working with Rolene. Doing a bit of brand work with YFM. I've been doing PR for YFM for a year now. We're going on to our second year. Yay. And yeah, the list is like really endless. Thankfully.
You're like, you guys are working. Like, you're making me feel so lazy. Jesus.
Yeah.
So, so what a lot of people would say now is that there are a lot of publicists in the game. You know,
they are.
And then you have people that don't understand the role of a publicist and just think, or perhaps arranging interviews and you know, things that have nothing to do with publicity is part of, you know, their job or what they should be doing on behalf of the client. And then you have people that are more famous than their clients. So when I am a new talent, because obviously our audience is up and coming talent, when I'm a new talent, what do I look for in a publicist? Do I look for famous publicist? Do I look for the client list, the publicist and the work they've done for them? What exactly are we supposed to look out for when we are seeking a publicist's services?
Just to start, personally, I think when you're looking for a publicist, you should look for someone who has the passion for whatever it is that you're trying to sell. Because if they don't have the passion to sell whatever it is that they're trying to sell, then it's pointless at the end of the day. If the person doesn't believe in the product or the service, no one else will. The passion and obviously the knowledge around whatever it is that they're selling. If, for example, a producer of a show, a radio show came up to me and started asking me questions about an artist that I'm representing, and I can't even answer the questions before asking the artist first, it makes you look like a shit show. So the passion and the knowledge for whatever it is that you're trying to sell, as well as the relationships that you've built with whoever that you'll be trying to get help from in order to sell whatever it is that you're trying to sell.
Okay. Anyone else?
But I also think to add on to that, I also think it's quite important to make sure that the person knows what they're doing. So a good resume is very important. And also what you have done for the project is also important. I mean, what if I just did the Twitter for whatever account? That doesn't, but people know you as being a publicist. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because I worked on a specific thing, you need to find out what you did on it. I think that's one of the most important things. So find out what they have done for their campaigns and how they've managed to execute that person or that thing.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think I also say,
and I was gonna add and say also someone who can deliver. There are a lot of publicists right now who claim that they can deliver this and that and that and that. And then people flock going to that specific person thinking they're going to be able to deliver all those things, and at the end of the day, they don't.
Okay.
So, someone who can stick to their word and can stick to their deliverables.
I agree. what I would like to add, I think, in the conversation, it's important for you to know who you are first before you approach a publicist and be sure of your story as well. Then you're able to find a bunny who's worked with every other artist in the industry, up and coming and established. Then you're able to say, okay, cool. I believe in working with people that I believe in, because then, like you said, Lindiwe, I'm able to sell you better because I believe in your product, I believe in who you are as a brand. Then everyone else is going to take you seriously because I do, and I care about your well-being more than just your music. Another thing, I think you need to have a team. Outside of just publicity, you need to have, if you can't afford a manager, but have a structure though. Because people tend to expect publicists to do everything for them. I'm not your booking agent, but I'm your publicist. I am this, but I'm not. So we have to define those roles clearly, because then that's where the confusion happens. And you're like, oh yeah, but it didn't do this for me. I was clear that I'm only able to offer you A, B, C, and D. And that entails getting you coverage, ensuring that you are visible, you're seen, you're heard, people know about what you're doing, and the execution is proper. But what I cannot promise you is to ensure that you get booked at Moja Cafe. That is not my job. That's why you need to have a booking agent for that particular job. My job is to ensure that you're as visible as possible so that promoters get to see you, they want to book you. The visibility that you get should enable you to make money. You should monetize that publicity. So I just think that people also need to be educated about what they're getting themselves into. Outside of just, yes, again, you don't need to have a famous publicist. I mean, some of them don't get the job done. Some of them don't get the job done, they're just famous people. A lot of them, we get, I've gotten a lot of failed campaigns from famous publicists, and now clients are like, hey, I've got 2 weeks to do this, can you do this for me? Because they had been disappointed where they were. And they were dealing with, celebrated publicists. And now we have to job and clean up the mess because they had, been disappointed. So I'd say to young aspiring musicians, know your story, do your research, find the right person who's going to believe in your brand, and then you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to add to that, I think people need to, like Bonnie's saying, know what your publicist is about. So you're a new artist coming, you go for a publicist that you know of, but they've never worked with a new artist. That's a problem because they don't know what to do. They could be in the game for 15 years, but they have no idea how much groundwork it takes to be and actually blow an artist up. And I think what I've learned is just being with a publicist that's willing to learn you. Because we get to a point where we work with so many artists. Bonnie has worked with big artists. I know Kgadi has. They've won awards. Now we feel like we know what we're doing. Yeah. But every single time you meet a client, you need to go back to learning them. What do they want? So that we don't give them what we think is good for them. Are you comfortable in this? If we say wear a short skirt, are you comfortable with that? No, yes. Somebody who's willing to learn you. And besides saying, we're going to start now, I always say to my clients, for the next month, I'm just learning you before we start with anything. I'm learning you, I'm coming to where you are, I'm coming to your spaces, so I know what I'm putting myself in. Because I know when I do start working, I throw my whole, and I know I'm good at what I do. And I'm also going to, like Bonnie was saying, I'm never going to be the artist that's in everybody's face. People take a while before they actually meet me. They're like, oh, you're Gaba, because I'm putting behind the scenes. Completely behind the scenes. And I don't have to keep mentioning, by the way, I'm working with Thiwe because I'm busy working. I'm working. So I think just learn who's this person that you're working with. Are they willing to learn you? They don't have to be famous. Are they willing to put in the work? Are they okay with not speaking until you have a goal that we're getting to? So for you and upcoming artists, I think that study who this person is or what they do.
Funny that you mentioned, sorry.
Yeah.
Funny that you mentioned some publicists who's never worked with a new artist. I actually wanted to ask, when you start out, I think with all of you, you've actually worked with unknown talent. So when you have unknown talent, the work that goes into building this brand, you know what I mean? Like, can you perhaps give us insight on what exactly happens? Because somebody might think, no, you have to wait for your song to be on radio, or somebody might think, if you are getting featured in newspapers, like eventually, like what actually what's the work that goes in that's needed in order for you to take this unknown person like and turn them into to a visible brand that even radio will be forced to start playing their music because this person is just in your face?
I'll just take Lizzie as an example, or rather as a case study. Lizzie is a Mozambican hip hop artist, and when we started working with him was in 2015, I think, and the whole objective of starting the entire PR campaign, or rather working with him when it comes to public relations, was to introduce him to the South African market. Number one, I had to pay to mind the fact that some of his lyrics were in Portuguese, so a certain audience would be compromised, and we were okay with that. But to a certain extent, we had to also step in as A&R and give him suggestions to be like, okay, cool, we understand that your target audience is predominantly Portuguese, but also try to wrap in a little bit of English so that the people in South Africa can also warm up to the kind of sound that you're making. So yeah, number one was obviously working on his sound and the language so that people could understand him in South Africa. And then when we started selling him to like newspapers, radio, and whatever, what our motto is at the label was sell the artist as if he's already big, even when he's not.
Okay.
Because whoever that you're trying to sell to also gets like a certain perception of the artist, like, oh, okay, cool. I'm checking out his YouTube page. It's optimized. His social media, it's clean. Everything is clean. Brand looks good. Songs sound proper. Production is on another level. So it goes back to believing in the artist before anyone else does. If you believe in the artist, you more likely to convince the other person to believe in them as much as you do.
100%.
Anyone want to add anything else?
Yeah, I mean, she said it all. That's what it is. I think it has to be about believing in the artist first.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, you have to primarily believing in the artist. For me, I think I had a guy called Kenan Meyer. Kenan is a pianist. Kenan is not known outside of the jazz space, and even in the jazz space, it's not as known. But what we had to do, he doesn't even have a song. He didn't have a song recorded, but he wanted to do a show in Cape Town. And how do I then sell this? Because no one knows who he is, but he's great at what he does. And the whole thing had now to do, starting from the beginning, have a PR shoot, strategize, how do we sell you? Who are you targeting? Those things then make it clear for us to go to the targeted media and say, this is this person. And also because the perception is that jazz music is for older people. He's only 22 years old. So how do I show that age group listens to him, but also get the jazz market, which is primarily older? Do you understand? So that's what I had to work on. And so from the PR images to ensuring that because he doesn't have music to send to radio, but now I want this to happen. So the idea was to sell the show, and also he was backed by William Cambridge, who is like a great artist in the fine art space, so it was quite a big thing. But the strategy worked, and you find a person like Langa Mavu. So Langa had only done, he had a song called Home, but he wasn't, a commercial artist. He wasn't in his known, which he's getting there. He's, but working with Langa was a bit different to Kenan, even though they work together, they're almost the same age group, but same planning and same, understanding of the artist and who they're trying to reach. And then it becomes easy to place them, in the press. And also speaking to them, being patient, because a lot of them tend to be very impatient. They want to be on GQ covers, they want to be on Expresso, they want to do this and that. We have to plant seeds first. And the many times that I pitch you to a Caxton, to a Media 24, to an SABC, or wherever I pitch you at, I'm planting seeds. I may not get a yes today, but they will know your name because I keep on persisting and I keep going back to them and saying, this person is amazing. You deserve to know who this person is. And they will be like, okay, cool. You've been talking about this person. Let's have them. And that's been the case with a lot of these newcomers. So believing in the person and showing that you are persistent, because a lot of times, unfortunately, we are all publicists, we are competing for the same space. So how do I ensure that my artists, as young, as upcoming as they are, they stand out from Gabas, from Lindiwe, from Kgadi's? I have to ensure that my langa is amazing, it's different. He sells you this beautiful romantic story and you buy into it and you want to have it. So I always say that I sell you the rain, but I sell it differently to what you see and experience. So my rain is different from yours. And now that's how you're going to experience my young and up and coming artist. It's very different and amazing and daring, and that's why you deserve to have them.
Okay.
So,
yep.
I think we're talking about the groundwork for new artists, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of work. So I think the first thing is to also identify what space do you want them in, you know, because especially hip hop artists have different types of space, like whether there's motswako, there's trap, there's that. So I'm going to compare two artists. I've worked with Java and MT. Those two people are in different spaces. MT, like I said, I fell into this thing. So he was my guinea pig. We were printing out singles and giving them out in taxi ranks for people to play. We literally forced to roll up down people's throats. Like, it was just, you have to know it because they're just playing the song and it's annoying. Now we know it, you know? So, but we also understood you're a trapper. This means you have to evolve constantly. So what are you doing next? What are you doing next? What are you doing next? Java, same group. He was also a trapper, but we're like, but there's more to it. So you have to convince this person, dude, forget the rap a little bit. Can you please rap in Zulu? Can you please sing? You can sing. Now you have to be like, are you sure about this? Yours is going to take a bit longer. You're not going to get famous in 3 or 4 months. It's going to take a while. But once your audience is there, they stay there. You know, and then the black, once your audience is there, they stay there because you know it takes long for you to break. But once you have your audience, hip-hop artists, you're going to evolve constantly. You have to constantly evolve. House artists, you have to constantly evolve. So it's understanding what space this person is in. What are we trying to place them in? Are we willing to do the work? And one of the things is what I've learned so far. We work like PR people, but we need to realize that now I don't work with somebody who doesn't work as much as I work. Like, we come to a point where I've worked with Kgadi. So our system was, even when we set interviews, we make sure we've got a road manager there to pick you up. We've got a photographer there. Like Lindiwe was saying, the content needs to look good. People need to understand who the artist is. If they get there, there's a road manager that they're talking to. So when the artist gets there, they don't know them, but they're like, who's this artist that's got a road manager and a photographer? Things are proper in life. You know, they get, obviously we need to treat them properly. But also we end up bending our backs so much because we believe in people, and then they're like, we're famous now, so I'm just gonna nap. Metro FM is waiting for you and a million viewers because you slept at 2 o'clock, so now you're tired. You know? So
you're right.
Learning how much we put in, and also learning for ourselves how far we can push ourselves. We give and give and give. We need to learn when to be like, you know what? Yeah, let's relax. Let's meet each other.
We give, and there's so much entitlement.
That's true.
I know, it's true. From an artist perspective, I know, and we apologize on behalf of everybody else.
Why you guys like this though?
Perhaps it's
not acting right.
I think you know it perhaps gets better with as you grow. But how like guys, like, ooh, I know I've been that, and
are not spoiled. When you work with them, they know how hard it is. Can get, so they are focused. Artists that never been independent, that are already used to it, they don't know anything different from that. So
a question is that when it comes to female musicians in the country, something very concerning, we are not coining it through endorsements like the hip hop guys, like you know, hip hop, and basically the guys make more money from branding to than we do. I mean, the last time I think we had a female artist. Okay, Nadia Nakai is building, you know.
I was about to say.
Yeah. Nadia Nakai is building that profile where she's getting endorsements, you know. But how is it that, you know, whether you're a gospel artist or whether you're an Afro soul artist, why are we sleeping on the money? It is such an issue. You have the biggest song in the country, and then, like, guys, endorsements are there. They're there waiting for you to come and take the money. What is this thing that we're not getting right as female artists?
I think it has to do with who manages you and what you want for yourself.
Yes.
It has to be about that, because I think a lot of men, well, I've worked with Boiti, for instance. Launching her music career was very interesting, but it was more than just the music. Boiti as the brand, she has a vision for herself. She wants a lot more. She wants money. She wants to play in different spaces. And how do we then ensure that we get her to to fit into those spaces that she wants to fit into, outside of just the music? And a team that I was working with at the time, they were just like, okay, cool, we had a list of all the brands that we wanted to target for her. Include sports brands, that include car brands, everything that we thought, okay, cool, she's going to be great at this because she's the target market. So you have to have a great team. You have to, and unfortunately, a lot of women, okay, not a lot of women, but some women tend to play small, but also outside of just playing small, the industry is for men. It favors men. It is designed by men to suit them. So you could go and present a certain great artist to a brand. They'll be like, nah, but she's got 2 kids, but she won't do this. Yeah, but she's this. There's always a but to a woman. But a man, oh, amazing. Yes, why not? Even if we do know things, because a lot of men that are endorsed by these brands, if you look closely into who they are marred by a lot of scandals. They are women beaters, they are rapists, they are this, they are that. But they still get endorsed by these brands. But for a woman, there's always this, oh yeah, but they're not good, they're not slim enough. They're not the right bread. There's always something not good enough about you. But with that said, women also have to work as hard. Unfortunately, that's how it is for us. We have to work extra hard to get what we want. Nanjina Kai is doing it. She's got a great team behind her. Boyd is doing it, and she's milking it. She's got a great team also. But it has to be just the team, and also targeting, having a clear vision for yourself. What do you want? How do you want to get there? And also, a lot of people, the downfall has been for other people, being in relationships with people that manage them. I've seen that with a lot of people. People that have managed their spouses, there are limitations there. It's not always the case, but there are limitations, and that's the reality of it. You were once the greatest person, and we're like, oh my goodness, and then boom, something happened. We just need to find out what exactly happens in those relationships, what then stops you, because it doesn't become the same. It's not the same. I'm not saying it's the same thing for every woman that's not making it right now, that's not reaching that top that they wish to reach, but there are a lot of things at play, and that is one of the things that play to their detriment.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree with a few things that Bonnie is saying. I also think if you work with brands are actually not willing, brands in South Africa, the way it happens in the States, how the endorsements work that side or any other place, it's not the same here. So I think also because women are coming into themselves and know their worth, brands will be like, we can endorse you as whatever label I am, and we'll give you clothes. Right? So what is really something I can afford? I can buy that. It's fine. So I think a lot of women are just like, it's fine. Whereas men, there's the whole, if I say I'm being sponsored by this big label, it's an ego booster. Because most of them, when you find out what the value of the brand is or what they're getting from it, it's actually nothing. It's they're getting clothes and products and here, pose with this in your video. So I think brands need to come to the party. And I think we also creative with what we're doing. I no longer go and say, we're looking for an endorsement for this. I come with an idea. Like, this is what we do on Friday. Jump in on this. Let's build a relationship on this, as opposed to, please come and give this person this and sponsor them, and then they'll just be the face. What are we doing? We need to evolve with our brandings and the PR when we were placing people. I work with an artist, DJ LaSoul. She's not known here, but in Durban, in which she is and what she does, she's well known enough to, here you go, please do your cover, play this piano, we'll pay you this amount of money, wear these things. And she even understands that I'm not doing this for free, I'm not doing 1, 2, 3. So I think that's the thing. Women are just like, we're not going to be doing stuff for free anymore. And brands are just not, I don't know what happens when it comes to South Africa, where they don't just give money. They want to, you know, it's always a better deal. It's not like with every artist. So the men might look like they are getting a lot, but half the time it's, you're getting clothes and you're getting like alcohol. That's what we're getting. So I think, but also, like I said, we need to evolve in what we're pitching to the brands. What do we want from them, as opposed to just being endorsed and stuff. But yeah, always have to work, as always.
Yeah.
Tough.
I just think that brands need to take women very seriously, and they don't do that.
And
Because there are people who, there's a company that is, you know, that endorses a few other people that I know. One is a big DJ, the other is a big rapper. They all got millions from the same company for endorsing certain products from them. But there are two women who are also endorsing certain products from the same company. They didn't make millions. They made good money, but they didn't make as much money because they are women.
Yeah.
So, Kgadi, how do we then push South African brand managers to start taking female artists seriously, in a sense? You've got a Shekinah, for example, who is one of the highest, she's got the highest streams, if I'm not mistaken, by a female artist. You know, she had all these awards, like the accolades are there, you know, everything is there. But like, how do you then convince a brand, or how do you make a brand want Shekinah, instead of you going to the brand and saying, you know, let's work together? How do you sell them, or how do we change this as South African creatives to make sure that brands are the ones that are knocking on our doors and see that, you know, like this could be a mutually beneficial relationship? Kgadi?
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh yes, I've got two screens with you. I've got your phone and I've got your laptop. All right.
Okay. Let me just close here. Never mind, it's not working. So what I wanted to say was, so someone in the case of Shekinah, if I'm not mistaken, she's endorsed by Adidas, right?
Okay.
But besides that, I think it's important to build your profile as a woman, and also be a better negotiator. Have more to offer than just, well, okay, I'm gonna go to this show and promote your stuff and this, that, and the third. I think, and that's where men are kicking our asses, is because they're better negotiators. Because most of the time, they're promoters. They are pushing their own gigs. They throw their own birthday tours, and like they come with so much more. They come with their own concerts and festivals, and okay, I'm gonna bring this client, and that for me is more attractive than, unfortunately, what a woman has to offer. Because if you're giving me more options of where I can expose my brand, then why not go for you? And predominantly, most of the time, it's men. The reason why people are gonna go for someone like Nadia more is because now that she's got an album out, now she's in sports scene, now she's with Cavassier. Okay, well, that's done now, but like that's what she's selling now. That's what she offers, and she comes from a label. She comes from a place where the people that she works with is also attractive, because Casper has the same thing with Samsung. He's got the same thing with Ciroc. He had a couple of deals prior with MTN and a bunch of different brands in the past like 5 years. Whereas there are so many people who have never accomplished that in their entire careers. Yeah. And that is attractive. I'm going to work with someone that is attractive because their brand is consistent, their brand is relevant, and they constantly push themselves, they constantly evolve themselves, they knock on doors. So I think the most important thing is to have more to offer than just, okay, well, I've got an album out, so how about, and I've got these numbers. Well, it's not enough. They are great. Funny enough, I was sitting with Major League the other day, and they were showing me like this grade 11 girl she's got like more numbers than most of these South African girls, these influencers. I think she's sitting on like 700, and her traction is, I think, close to 1 million. That's like some Bonang numbers.
Wow.
And she's a little grade 11 high school girl. You know what I'm saying? So you need to just offer more. You need to just offer more.
But then with regards to offering more, doesn't then put you at risk of diluting this brand that you might be trying to build? Because like like you mentioned earlier that brand managers are they're a bit harder on women because she's a mother, she's a this, there's limitations when it comes to female artists that male artists don't have. So when you now doing so much to try and I don't know, keep what's the word, English, when you're trying to do, when you're doing a lot, to try and keep yourself relevant or to make yourself attractive to brands, doesn't it then dilute this woman or this brand that you've built as a woman, considering the fact that there's so many limitations when it comes to female artists?
I think there's a certain limit. There's a give and there's a take. There has to be, it has to be within measure. For instance, someone like Maps, for instance, can do multiple things. Someone like Nomzamo can do multiple things. Someone like Bonang can do multiple things, but she's still known for doing one particular thing. That is her profession. Yeah. But however, because of the way that she looks and the way she sells herself and the way, like her perception, the way she speaks, it's attractive to many people and it's attractive to many other brands. So it's about a give and a take. The same thing with Casper. Casper's like a funny personality, whatever, on social media, but he's not like that on stage. And also he has an athletic side to him. He goes to the gym and then he has like a jokey side on social media where he jokes with his friend or whatever. And now look at his friend. So but you don't necessarily see him showing his girlfriend or his, I don't know, significant other. There's just limitations. Nasty C is a great example as well. He's a person who does show his girlfriend. He's a person but he's not really a person who shows himself in studio. But he's the same guy who just signed a deal with Def Jam. He's the same guy who's on the cover of GQ. He's the same guy who's like got like he's probably like the running plaque man in SA. Like he's probably got the most plaques, highest selling hip hop artist. And he's only like 23. It just goes to show like this thing of entertainment, if you treat it correctly, it'll treat you correctly.
Okay.
Another example is DJ Zinhle, to add to what Kgadi said.
DJ Zinhle is another example. AKA.
Very well. DJ Zinhle is a mom. I think also, for her as a woman, she's a mother. She did not let that be all and end all. She had a career before the baby. She continued working. And she has various businesses. She's endorsed by different brands. And she's killing it. But it's not the case for a lot of other women. I think my focus is going to be a lot more on women because I think men have it easy. It's easy, like you said, the power to negotiate. I think for a lot of women, we are always afraid to say what we want and this is how much I want. So for men, it's easy to say, I want 2 million rand out of this deal. And for women, there's a lot of that. But look at a person like Thandiswa. Thandiswa's been killing it in the game. We all love her. We go to her concerts, we buy, music. But what brands do endorse her? But if you think of a great singer, she's first, she comes to mind. But where has she endorsed a brand and say, okay, cool? Because sometimes, yes, brands have to go to, like you said, Thiwe, why don't brands go to these women, to these girls and say, hey, I want you to work with us on this thing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Lindy? Oh yeah.
And I can definitely add on to that and say, like, I remember when I was doing PR for Rosefest, and I had this conversation with Shekana. She's like, I've never headlined in my own country. I've never. I've headlined in Ghana, Namibia, Nigeria, everywhere, like almost everywhere in the African continent, except for South Africa. So the first time she would have headlined is when she would have had to make it happen herself.
Her own show, absolutely.
Yes,
and
her own show.
funded as well.
And funded, you know, and that also wasn't easy. Like Rosefest was such a hustle, you know, just like above the line. Like, it's not easy. Like, these people just literally want to see her come into the room and just sit there and not say anything, even though she's not the person that's like having these conversations. We are the main people behind having these conversations. But for the mere fact that she's in the room and like, okay, so it's really happening. Like, yeah, it's really happening, you know, give us the money. You know, it's such a hustle. It's such a hustle. And unfortunately, it's still going to go on for a while because they have to be the sacrificial lambs.
Yeah.
They really do have to be the sacrificial lambs.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you're saying, Kgadi, about image as well. I think it's very important how you mentioned Casper as all of this, as this person with all of these layers, making him appealing to certain brands. Look at Nomzamo, Bonang, and them. They're not artists, like you said, but they do, you know, they're artists in their own right, like in different art forms, but they get to appeal to different brands. Musically, Boiti has the right look. She looks fabulous.
100%.
She's sexy. She's what brands want to be associated with. Nadia is the same. But I mean, there have to be brands that are not looking for the very same thing. Then as a
100%.
As a you know, a Malay, why don't you then identify, because you've worked already on who you are and who your target market is. A Malay is not competing with Boiti. Different audiences altogether.
Yeah.
Boiti is going to go perform at a club. Ciroc and all of those brands are there. Thiwe, a Malay, any other soul artist, you are targeting a different brand altogether. You could be going to, you know, household brands. Who goes to them and say, hey, give me money, I'm going to do this. Do you understand? But we all think, make it, we have to go to an alcohol brand. To make it, we have to go to a sports brand. We are limiting ourselves as well. I think if you think outside the box and think, okay, cool. There are certain things that you like, that you enjoy in your personal capacity as a musician. Why don't you then think of monetizing those things for yourself?
Yeah. Ladies, like, our time is running out and my heart is sore because I want to talk for so long. But just one last question. New artists, since once again they are a target market, here's a new artist who is, you know, slowly trying to build themselves from scratch, perhaps not signed to any label, so chances are they're funding everything themselves. They don't have access to a lot of resources, or they don't have resources. What can I do myself to try and build a profile up until obviously I get to a point where I can afford to hire your services? What can I do? Lindy?
Cool. Sorry, but I have to trail back because I wanted to say something towards the end.
No, not
of
a
the
problem.
conversation we just had.
Yeah.
That even though a lot of artists or brands may be chasing being affiliated with certain brands, there's something I remember at one conference that I went to that DJ Zinhle was hosting, that at the end of the day, don't be a brand slave. That you're now chasing these brands but forgetting who you are and what you're about. Just for example, let's say Rebecca Malope. We can't be seeing an artist like Rebecca Malope advertising an alcohol brand, because the gospel genre has been placed as that, as a holier than thou kind of genre, that nothing bad, not that alcohol is bad, that nothing bad could be affiliated with an artist like that. So yeah, just in closing, artists and brands shouldn't be chasing brands to an extent that they end up being brand slaves. When it comes to what an artist can do for themselves as an emerging artist, there's so many tools that artists can exploit, more especially online. If you're an artist and you're not signed to a label, obviously there are certain costs that you'll have to carry, such as recording and production and. So simple things that artists can exploit is just, number one, you can create your own bio. You don't need to go to a Bonnie or a Gaba or a Kgadi for them to construct a bio for you. The least you can do is construct your own bio and at least ask for guidance from these people instead of asking them or getting them to do it for you. One of the things that I do with a couple of artists that I know, a couple of artists that I work with, is that I ask them to construct their own bios and send it to me. I will send it back with corrections to say, okay, cool, you can improve your bio by doing this, have a brand logo, add this info is irrelevant, add this instead. At the bottom, have your social media logo and links to your social media. So yeah, simple things that you can do as an emerging artist yourself. Number one is constructing your own bio and not waiting to get a publicist to do it for you. When it comes to radio blogging, unfortunately, the system is the way that it is. And not everyone will get attention, more especially if you're sending your stuff via email, but still do that. Chances are music compilers will come across it, and if they like it, they'll play it. And when it comes to like contacts for music compilers, those are all over the internet. You don't need to go to a publicist to be like, okay, please borrow me like your database. If one could just hop onto Google right now and Google SABC radio stations, music compilers, there's a PDF that has literally everything. Also utilizing services like Turn Up Music, where I was before, which is a platform that's strictly for South African artists. So the service doesn't cater to any content outside of South Africa. If it's outside of South Africa, it has to be Pan-African. So any artist from Nigeria, Kenya, Mozambique, Tanzania, wherever, that content they do take. But if it's from other countries such as the UK, the US, they do not cater to that. And with systems or services such as Turn Up Music, artists get more marketing without even having to pay for it. Because if you submit your song there and they like it, they will to other services such as Samsung, because they have a partnership with Samsung. They will push it to Vodacom because they have a partnership with My Muse. So all these services are there to exploit. All artists need to do is just be aware of the services and exploit them as much as they can. Now coming to where I am now, which is at the Orchard, we also deal with strictly independent labels and independent artists. So if you're an independent artist,
Love the Orchard.
Sorry?
Love the Orchard, love.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, at the Orchard we work with independent artists and labels. So if you're an independent artist that's been pushing themselves, then yeah, you're welcome to come pitch your stuff and we'll gladly evaluate it and offer you a distribution deal. But if you're an artist that has never released music before, that's probably working on their first project or their first single, then you're good to go to a DIY service such as your Turn Up Music or your DistroKids or your TuneCores. Like all these services are just there. I think artists just need to be aware of them and do more research. Like research is vital.
Okay. In closing, everybody else?
Adding on to that, you definitely need to come up with your own database. Like, and I'll take Elaine for an example. Elaine was not known the other day. Then today, she's one of the biggest deals. I saw on Beats One. And how it started with her is that she literally just sent her music to her friends. And she started building a community in her area. So she sent it to the people that she already knows, people that are already friends of hers, people who already love her, who just genuinely like her as a person. Then, adding on to the music, they were going to support it anyway because it's beautiful, it's soulful, it's R&B, it's like, and that's what's like in right now. So start your own database of your friends, your family, your cousins, your schoolmates, whatever, soccer teammates, whatever you do as a hobby. I think you need to start there. Your first 100, just 100 people, you can start an emailer to go out with and say, imagine getting an email saying, yo, what up? This is Drake. I just dropped my latest project, Scorpion. Stream it here. It sounds so personal to me. It sounds so personal to me. I feel like Drake just texted me
Yeah.
So if you can get like 100 of those people, and then they're gonna extend it to their family, they're gonna bump it in their cars. Besides just the usual, okay, I'm gonna send it to radio and I'm gonna push you on TV. You have 100 that you cannot take away from me. Whatever happens, there's 100 people that love me no matter what. I think start your own database, because then you can grow it from there. Then you can get it to about whatever 6,000 at the end of the year. So, and set goals and targets for that. Design it differently. Speak to them occasionally. What would you like me to post? What would you like to see? Then you grow it on social media as well. And you can use it throughout your career. And that'll be like your own little PR black book, so to say.
Okay, Gaba?
I think Kgadi and Lindiwe covered a lot.
Okay.
I think back to what Lindiwe was saying about not being a brand slave. I think I wanted to say, we're saying so much that women are not doing, and I wanted to say women don't have to always conform to all these little things. I want to say women are enough, you know, they're doing well. We've got a lot of artists that are doing amazing. We do 20%, the artist does 20%. We've got people that actually hold the key to this thing, and those gatekeepers need to come. We can do whatever we want. Women can go be chameleons and whatever, but the brand managers that decide, I'm giving Thiwe this money, need to come to the party. And most of them, I've actually dealt with a female one, are male. They will go for male. So as much as we need to expand and do that, women are doing enough. It's okay. There's no need to add any other bells and whistles to it. It's okay, you're doing enough. Should the brands come, that would be great. And if they don't, it's still okay. You're doing fine. You're doing okay. We're not going to be slaves for this thing.
Bon?
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think for aspiring musicians, the internet is your friend. I think, look at LMA. LMA was doing covers on Instagram for the most part, literally every day, posting different covers until she got a big break. So I think utilize the internet. I mean, not everybody has access to data, but but a lot of people do. So if you are interested in making a brand for yourself, invest in yourself, have to look for yourself. How do you want to be perceived as a musician? Start small, like Kgadi was saying, build a community that you're going to send and bounce off ideas with them. Post your stuff online. YouTube is free. Have a channel, sing there. People will take notice. People will follow you. At the right time, things do happen.
Okay. Ladies,
and don't sleep on money. Because a lot of artists sleep on money.
They do.
No. They do, more especially when it comes to like digital stuff, putting out your stuff on Pagaza.
Yeah.
And the other one, Audio Mac, where you're not monetizing. Like it's helping in terms of reaching whatever audience you're trying to reach. But when it comes to you now looking at your statements at the end of the quarter, it really isn't helping. So getting onto platforms where you can monetize from your content is key, as opposed to chasing a target audience where you aren't going to get anything out of it.
Okay.
And maybe when you have established your community, start performing, start doing small gigs. Some won't pay as much as others, but again, I think we're at a time now where you should not be performing for free unless you owe me money. But just don't do performances for free. Start small, build yourself up, because when you start charging for your work, you're taking your work seriously as well. You're understanding your worth. People will take notice. There's a lady called Tato Jessica from Botswana. She just moved to South Africa. She is making waves right now. People get to know her because it's beautiful and it's good quality. She was selected as part of the Red Bull EP with Master C and Rolene, which is quite amazing. But she's an
I actually
amazing,
recognize her from there, yeah.
She's dope. She's really dope.
Be as you rise. Lift as you rise.
Sorry?
Red Bull, lift as you rise.
Yeah, absolutely that. She's part of that. And it came, what she did with that, she had no idea who those people were. She didn't know a single person there. But they posted a competition online and she entered, she sang, posted herself on Instagram, and then they chose her to be one of the people that are going to Cape Town to record. So the internet is your friend. Utilize it.
Okay. Ladies, thank you once again. I really wish we could chat longer. Perhaps we should do a part 2. But really appreciate you making time to share your knowledge and with the young talent and everyone that will be watching. And yeah, I'm really hoping that we can have a part 2 or actually host a physical workshop where we just strictly focus on PR. So thank you so much for your time today.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
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 Bye.